have made available to you. Now, part of our teaching ministry is also specialized study tours of Israel. Sometimes we do a 3-week study tour, sometimes a 5-week study tour. Last spring was 5 weeks. This spring, in May, June, we'll do a 3-week study tour. And if you want some information about this, you can get it from there as well. It's limited to just 25 people maximum. So the first 25 people will get to go. And at this point, I think we have 16 reservations, so we have room for about 9 more reservations. In closing, let me add just 2 PSs. I mentioned I married my wife, Marianne, between my first and second year of seminary, but I met her 7 years earlier, began calling her when we first met. She was one very stubborn individual, and for 7 years she kept saying no, no, no. After 7 years of courtship, she finally saw the light and agreed to the wedding. So I worked just as long for my wife as Jacob, my forefather, worked for his wife 7 years. And I realized I worked for her for long as Jacob worked for his wife. Just before the ceremony, that scared me a bit. It scared me because my wife has 2 sisters. In a Jewish wedding ceremony with finalized, the best man takes a wine glass and puts it by your foot. You proceed to smash the glass. Once the glass is smashed, you are married. So my wedding, when the best man took the wine glass and put it by my foot, I first took a peek through the veil to make sure it was the right sister, and then I smashed the glass. We learned by experience. I mentioned the pastor who gave my mother that cover of the magazine. Now, after I became a believer and put the pieces of the puzzle together, I tried to make contact with him and his daughter that also paid visits, but nobody had their address anymore, and all contact was lost. So after a while, I simply gave up. And then when my prophecy book, The Footsteps of the Messiah, was published back in the 70s, it was translated into German about 3 years after it was published, and shortly after the German edition came out, I received a letter from Germany from a woman who said that when she was years ago, she knew a family by the same last name as mine. And the letter, she had my father's name, my mother's name, my brother's name, and sister's name. She wasn't sure exactly who I was because she knew me by my Russian name, Arichek. And my name was anglicized to Arnold when I immigrated to America, but she knew me as Arichek. She wasn't sure who I was, and it turned out she was the daughter of that pastor. And so when we came back from Israel one summer, we stopped off in Germany and paid a visit to them. I discovered that from the time I left Germany, which was 1951, she prayed for my salvation every single day. I was saved in 1957. She did not know that, kept praying for my salvation into the early 1980s, till she finally realized there was, the answer was already there. Now, how she got a hold of my book is also a work of God, because back in those days she was single. She was married after we left Germany. Her last name changed. And her husband didn't know much about the story. We happened in the bookstore and saw this new Bible prophecy book, and he bought it for his wife only because his wife liked Bible prophecy. And really she recognized the last name. She also told me that before, for several years earlier, when her father was close to dying, she went to see him and asked him, should she be praying for my salvation? Because she never know the answer. And the father said, just keep on praying, someday you'll know. She kept on praying. When she got the book, she realized she would know. And eventually, she and her husband began our German branch, headed up for about for about 10, 15 years until they retired. The branch is still quite active with some new leadership. A good example of us willingness to pray day after day, year after year, even as it looked like to get an answer, but she finally got an answer in a positive way. That's my testimony. So we're going to probably have our Hannukah refreshments, but you have to qualify for that. Being Hannukah, you have to be able to get a basketball and put straight 8 times to the hoop. Otherwise, you don't get any latkes. Who's in charge here?
That's quite a journey, isn't it? Quite a story. God's called each of us, I believe. Thank you. God's called each of us, you know, to himself. And this little Jewish teen had a God-shaped vacuum. And God gave him an intellect, and God gave him a heart after God, like David. And I really encourage you at this time, we're just going to go right into the offering, but this will help this ministry go forward. And someday visit Denise, because Arnold's always out of town, but at the REL headquarters over there off of Hannukah. You can write your checks to REL, or anything would be appreciated. There's a basket somewhere in front of me, right? And a basket back there. And so, Father, thank you for Dr. Fruchtenbaum's life and legacy. And we're so glad that he came to San Antonio, not just today, but many years ago. And you invested him in this work. And it's a good work. And we appreciate him. We appreciate all the staff members. And thank you that he goes by faith. So may this work continue to go God's way, all the way. And you'll not lack supplying them according to their needs. Bless these people as they consider sharing with our REL ministry. And we give you praise in the name of the Messiah of Israel and the nations. Amen.